Hi, I'm Brian Manning, a recent graduate from Eastern Michigan University. Last spring, I had an opportunity to join EMU faculty members, friends, and family in the celebration of Dr. Dodge's life. In an effort to share part of Dr. Dodge's life with others, we are planning to put together a video that will be put on the internet and also put in DVD format. Well, Mrs. Dodge, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Although I've never had Dr. Dodge as a professor, but he certainly had an impact on myself and other EMU students with his leadership here in the marketing department. Could you tell us a little bit about the life that you and Dr. Dodge shared?
We had a wonderful life together, many memories of living in many different places, but finally we ended up here at Eastern Michigan, and it was a very special place. Bob was very proud to work here and to be a part of the university. He was always interested in the students and all the faculty around him. He constantly was doing research, and marketing was his favorite thing in sports. So naturally, he was very interested in developing the program of sports marketing.
Could you tell us a little bit about one of your favorite moments that you shared with Dr. Dodge academically?
One of our favorite moments was when we went to Davos, Switzerland. And we had a wonderful time, and it was a special time to be with students as well as to learn about another area of the world.
Donna, could you talk a little bit more about your family?
One memory that I have that I'd like to share with you is Ohio State, of course, was very popular with Bob. And while he was in the hospital, one of the interns made sure that he brought things from the internet in for Bob to read, updates of what was going on at Ohio State. And then after Bob's illness, it was a very special time when we were able to go and visit our son and daughter-in-law, and when they had newborn triplet baby girls. We went, it was his last trip out anywhere. We went over to Beaumont Hospital to see the little babies, and soon after that, 4 days, then we lost Bob. But it was special to our family. We could all be together and that he could see the new little babies. And also his little grandson had come to visit him a few days before that, and it was a special time they had together. He crawled up on the bed with Bob and hugged him and played with him. It was a very nice time.
Dr. Fullerton, Dr. Dodge wasn't only your colleague, but your mentor. Could you tell us a little bit about the legacy he left here at Eastern?
Let me first tell you a little bit about the mentorship. It's interesting because he and I had a very long relationship. I looked at my resume not too long ago, and I think his name appears on it something like 23 times, things that he and I have written together, 3 books, as well as a number of articles, as well as obviously working together with the state of Michigan and with Michigan Golfer, Michigan PGA, some of the golf course operators and so forth. I played Army. Fortunately, I got to play Army in Germany instead of Vietnam for 2 years. And then I got out and I started thinking, well, I need to go to work. And then I discovered that the government would pay me to go to college. And I thought, well, that sounds better than work, doesn't it? So I started at Memphis State in 1971. And all I knew at that time is I wanted to be a business major, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. So I'd gone through and took an accounting course, finance course, business law course, and so on. And then I took Intro to Marketing with Dr. H. Robert Dodge. Big lecture hall, sat in the back row like many of us are prone to do. And it took about maybe a week of classes to go, all right, I think I found it. I think I found it. And so I got my bachelor's degree in marketing. I went straight through, got a master's of science in marketing, and took 3 courses, graduate courses from Bob. He was on my oral comprehensive committee as well, and then he left and became department head at Northern Illinois, and he managed to get me into academia quite quickly by getting me a job teaching. I left Frito-Lay. I was working at Frito-Lay, and went to work at Kansas State. Well, it's actually Pittsburgh State University. It was then a small college in Pittsburgh, Kansas, with the understanding I'd go teach for 2 years at Northern Illinois as well. So he and I were together at Memphis State, and then we were together at Northern Illinois for 2 years. And then he went on to Youngstown to become dean, and I went to Michigan State for my PhD, came here to work, and the job as department head became available in, I think, 1991. And I called Bob and said, Bob, would you like to be my boss again? And as fate would have it, he came in, and he was my boss again. And as fate would have it, I guess I could say I was sort of his boss for the last year of his academic life as well. But I always think of Bob in terms of the prototypical scholar, writing, reading. I'm still uncovering notes and articles that were started and things like that. He was just absolutely devoted to the students and to the discipline. And he just couldn't learn enough about marketing. He wasn't one of these that walked into class with dog-eared notes, yellowed paper, and talked about things that went on in 1975. He was talking about things that went on yesterday. And you always had to appreciate that with any professor, I think, that you have.
Dr. Fullerton, could you tell us a little bit about Dr. Dodge's role and how sports marketing evolved here at Eastern?
During his tenure as department head, obviously he had a true love of sports, not just Ohio State, but the St. Louis Cardinals and sports in general and in athletes. And sports marketing has been around a while as a discipline, but you never found it very much in business schools. You would find it in leisure studies programs and so forth, and they never had quite the same business orientation where we're talking about market segmentation and different concepts specific to business. And Bob always thought, well, we can fill a gap here, we can fill a void, and we can start to look at sports marketing from not just a sociological perspective, but from a business perspective. And what he basically did is said, let's go ahead and put together the remnants or the beginnings of a program, not the remnants, but the beginnings of a program where we can use special topics classes to teach sports marketing. We had a special topics class on facilities management. We instituted a new course on sports law, which we're still doing online. He and I talked about on more than one occasion, the prospects of introducing a new course on sponsorship. And that's something that within the next year, I know I'm going to be doing the paperwork to file for a new course, so that then we'll have a sports marketing track here that will be sports marketing, sponsorship, which we would refer to as the marketing through sports, and then sports law. So we'll have 3 business-oriented courses.
I would like to thank Mrs. Dodge and Dr. Sam Fullerton for sharing their memories of Dr. Dodge. As a recent graduate at Eastern, I'm certainly thankful for the education that I got here at Eastern through the marketing department, and it certainly contributed to me having a full-time job today. Thank you.